Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Greetings and hello, everyone. I am Katie Petrick, joined by David Fiorazo, and he's been hyped for so long now
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
2024.
God bless
He's going to be
us,
saying
everyone.
it the entire month of January.
God bless us, everyone.
So get ready. If you didn't join us yesterday, and this is your first appearance of David, there's more. David, how's it going on Worldview Matters?
We did a live show yesterday.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
His brain is just
Okay.
all over the place. Worldview matters.
Yeah.
It matters.
Thank you. It does. John Haller, amazing prophecy updates on his Facebook channel. A lot of people follow him, and it was great to get some insights on what some are forecasting for this year, 2024. Very interesting conversation. You can subscribe at worldviewmatters.tv, and that will get you one email free every week. Or you can, look for our podcast, download the Freedom Project app if you haven't. I think Katie's going to say that next.
Yeah.
Did you already say that?
No.
No, you didn't. You just said I said Happy New Year.
Yeah. Here's a question. If you get one free email a week, if I pay, do I get more free emails that are not free because I'm paying for them?
We could work something out.
That'll be nice. All right. Well, good update. And
Yes.
everyone, tune into Worldview Matters.
Thank you.
Now, we are tuning in here to Educated. So we're going to talk about Harvard. And their DEI president is out. Gay is gone. But the question is, was it because of her controversial comments on Capitol Hill, if you remember them? Or was it something else that the university chose to ignore until now? Dun, dun, dun. What are we talking about, David?
I'm talking about John Harvard rolling over in his grave.
He's just turning.
Because Harvard has come a long way and in the wrong direction. So you probably have been somewhat up to speed on the story that she plagiarized and did all this. But here's the there's the headline. She resigns in disgrace, paints herself as a victim of racial animus. Okay, so they're only coming after her because she's black, but actually she's checks a couple boxes. She's black and female. And I believe Chris Rufo is one that started the Abolish DEI campaign, the one that we've talked about so long, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's go back and look at a couple of the responses when she was talking about the attacks against Israel by Hamas and anti-Semitism. And she says, remember, we played that a couple weeks ago. She was asking about the context. She wouldn't answer yes or no. She wouldn't say what they were doing was anti-Semitic. Do you remember that?
And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, at an individual.
It's targeted at Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric.
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
All right, David, my big question, though, out of this whole thing is, were those Claudine Gay's actual words, or were they plagiarized?
You mean her responses there?
Yes.
Under oath.
That is a question, and it's a legitimate question based on all of what has happened since she went to Capitol Hill, and it wasn't just her, it was her and a couple other university presidents from the Ivy Leagues, and their performances were so poor that we are now having two of them being ousted.
Just two?
So far.
By the way, this is not just an Ivy League problem.
Correct.
DEI has been a cancer across the country, and corporations But academia, it is a cancer. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I wonder how she was hired. I would love to know that. The decision making behind that.
Well, she absolutely was a DEI hire, and she became the 30th president of Harvard University back on July 1st. She has now, with her resignation, become the shortest termed, I think, president that they've had out of those 30. And of course, the natural response has to be, well, she's female and black. And so the fact that she's only been there for 6 months obviously means that she is being discriminated against.
Right.
It's racial something. It's sexist something. Because she can't do her job properly. And it goes more beyond than what happened on Capitol Hill and her performance. It's the fact that, oopsie, Claudine Gay hasn't even produced her own material. Going all the way back to her, well, probably farther back, but to her dissertation, because, she's the PhD in political science. But those aren't her own words in her own dissertation. And how many publications they keep finding more evidence of her plagiarizing. So Christopher Rufo, who always is doing great work, put out a tweet saying more plagiarism. So this is not the first. On January 1st, we got even more. So she had 2023 plagiarism against her, and now 2024, way to kick it up. An independent researcher found 6 additional plagiarized passages in Claudine Gay's academic work. The total is now approaching 50 instances. 50 different works of Claudine Gay just plagiarizing other people. And you wonder why she is going to be out as president? Because the thing is, their board said, we stand behind Claudine Gay. But the actual backlash coming from everyone else is the reason she's actually having to resign. But David, it's not so bad for her, is it?
Well, no, she gets to keep her salary, from what I understand.
Wait, what?
No, this is, there's one of the many articles. Harvard's Claudine Gay set to keep her nearly $900,000 annual salary despite resigning as university president. It's a head scratcher.
No, this is perfectly in line. This is on brand for what our academics, our media, our government. It's a revolving door with all of them. They just keep going in between each one. If there's a scandal, quote unquote scandal, they just move to the next.
Well,
thing. Pretty soon she'll be in the media. She will work for MSNBC any day now.
Right. This would never happen if this person was a Christian, conservative, heterosexual white male.
Yeah, because
that would never happen.
He might have morals.
He would be
That's
out.
why. He might have morals. This would literally this wouldn't
would
happen. Hopefully he would have morals.
Not only would he be forced to resign or he would be fired, he would not get his salary.
Yeah, so now, she's going to be a poli-sci, go back to teaching poli-sci. So I hope she has a whole unit on ethics.
And there's a CNN reporter that, and not just CNN, but many of the reporters defended Claudine Gay.
You mean future coworker?
Yeah.
Claudine Gay.
Right. Future co-employer or co-employee. Yeah, they're going to be working together. So of course they're taking her side. Of course. So this is just, it's frustrating to you and I, Katie. We feel kind of redundant talking about these issues, but when they blow up into a big story like this, where it just doesn't seem to be working out like it would have maybe 50 years ago, had they found this out about a president of a university.
Yeah.
Right?
So because we have no ethics by pretty much anyone, it makes perfect sense here that a now former president of an Ivy League university gets to go back to teaching political science. And of course, the media is defending her, what she's doing. So no one is ethical in any of this. But let's just, let's hear it from the CNN reporter.
These plagiarism allegations, where Claudine Gay has had to issue corrections, multiple corrections. Now, we should note that Claudine Gay has not been accused of stealing anyone's ideas in any of her writings. She's been accused of sort of more like copying other people's writings without attribution. So it's been more sloppy attribution than stealing anyone's ideas.
Jeez, okay.
Yeah, so it's plagiarism. Like, call it a spade a spade. Does this bit of work identify as a zimzer?
I wish we had time.
Do we have to ask how the actual words identified? This is ridiculous.
But it was
plagiarism.
mostly peaceful plagiarism. Anyway,
Mostly peaceful.
with a surge in school violence spreading across the country, one expert claims the best thing to do is adopt a policing strategy to bring order back. We're going to talk about that next.
So every day, you know, we hear about how there's less education, more indoctrination, more violence in our schools. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So before all of us here went on Christmas break, New York City actually reached a breaking point when there were 3 stabbings that happened in schools on 3 separate days, back to back to back. And it was by students. So
Wow.
Students are stabbing other students. That's Merry Christmas to all stabbing.
Yeah, they were on Santa's naughty list.
Exactly. So let's hear from Fox News about this whole situation.
Why do you think we got to this place where there's just no discipline and teachers almost seem outnumbered and alone?
I think we have lost sight of the basics. I mean, a lot of schools really, especially during COVID, you know, they were not only locked down, but even after they came back, we started not worrying about attendance. We started not worrying about small behavioral infractions. We started not worrying about grades. We started not worrying about dress codes. All of these things, I think, really combine to create an atmosphere where larger, behaviors are really being tolerated more and more, and students are getting the message that nobody really cares about what the atmosphere in a school is.
So how would it go? How would it be implemented, this broken windows? Someone's late, they get detention. Every little thing that you do, not just the big things.
Right. So broken windows is, of course, the policing policy that was implemented in New York in the 1990s. And the idea was that small infractions, we have to pay attention to them, to broken windows, to fare beating, to all these things, because those are the things that eventually lead to the more violent, more significant offenses. And I think we need to start doing that in schools. So we need to start paying attention to attendance. We need to start paying attention to dress code. We need to start paying attention to whether kids are disruptive in class. And once we start sort of saying, look, we're not going to tolerate these small things, you'll eventually start to see, especially when you do this in the younger grades, when you tell, you know, a 16-year-old we're not going to tolerate that doesn't really have much of an effect. When you tell a 7-year-old this is not the appropriate way to behave in school, that will have a long-term impact on the way they think about school and the environment that they are part of.
Preach.
Those videos were really disturbing, and they had a lot of them blurred out. Mm-hmm. And that's just the ones we know about here, and there's many more like this. And yeah, they asked a lot of good questions.
Well, and so this is the thing that for those of you who are just listening, that was Naomi Schaefer Riley of the American Enterprise Institute. All right. And she's the one who's calling for this broken windows policy, which again is what was going on in New York City, where they implemented basically anything that happened, any little infraction, the cops got involved and put an end to it. But guess what happened during that time? Because it was in the 90s. It was a lot of Rudy Giuliani was in charge, and he was getting things done with New York City. Yeah. And you didn't have 3 stabbings in 3 days by students in schools. Like, this is
in one of those, they were attacking one of the security or police officers.
Yep. No fear. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
No repercussions.
As much as we say that teenagers, students, all that are not all up there in the brain, they are when it comes to knowing how to get themselves out of trouble and get what they want. They are smart enough to know, well, let's see, there's this whole policy now where we don't have to, like with the adults in the building, the adults can't do anything to us. That means I can get away with punching a fellow student, punching an adult. I can get away with being late to class. I can get away with my pants hanging down my ankles because I'm cool like that. I can get away and just insert it. And it's been going on for years. And this is why we have just the slow, they say society dies by 10,000 paper cuts or something. And whatever the quote may be about death to a society. This is how our educational system has died, by a million different paper cuts.
Well, one of the big words is discipline. That's one of the big
You can't
things
use
we're
that
talking
D
about.
word. How dare you?
People have redefined what that means
Absolutely.
now. It doesn't mean what it meant 50 to 75 to 100 years ago. And when kids... when we're talking about some of the violent crimes or activities or things they do, they see others not being punished and getting away with
Yep.
what. So they They're not going to do anything to me. What can they do? They'll take me away. They'll take me down to the principal's office, whatever. I'll be back in school in a couple days or the next day. So they know they're not going to get disciplined or punished.
And the thing is, they get rewarded. It's not even not getting disciplined. It's like it's not enough, David.
And then they're famous on social media.
Yeah, it's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist. In this instance, it's not enough to be like not punished. You are rewarded. It's completely opposite. Because what happens, all these kids get to then either have in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension, meaning they don't have to be in the classroom. And does that mean they get zeros on all of their work that they missed? Oh, no. We can't do that because we need to make sure our grades are high enough. And it's all about getting the money because that's what these school systems work for. They use their justification of how many butts are in the seats and then how high their grades are to then be like, well, we need more money, give us more money. If we would actually, be like, work with what you got, prove to us that you can discipline kids and actually turn it around, and then we will give you more money. But we don't do that. We do it the opposite way. I could go on forever. 2024, I'm here for it. All right, but still to come. For the first time in history, not herstory, police are now investigating whether it's a crime for someone's virtual character, because we live in a virtual society, to be assaulted inside of a video game. It seems weird, and it is weird, but we're going to talk about it next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
All right, so that AI, it's all about AI now. It's going into even more dangerous territory as police are now investigating the first case of rape. So get your head wrapped around that.
Okay.
All right. In the metaverse, after a child was, they're saying, attacked, and that's in air quotes, in a virtual reality video game. So this is happening over in the UK, or it happened, I guess, in the UK. And the girl under the age of 16 is said to have been left distraught after her avatar. So that's a digital character for those of you who don't know what that is. Okay.
Avatar. Got it.
Because you have a screen like on your head, goggles, and you're playing in this virtual world. There you go. You can see the image of it. And so you have an online character, like in the video game. So it's your avatar. Okay. Her avatar character was apparently gang raped by online strangers.
Jeez.
So like other real people out in the world, but it's their avatar. And then her avatar in this virtual world that she's saying she was gang raped by them. So here's a question.
All right.
Like, is that illegal? So she didn't suffer any physical, actual injuries or anything, but obviously there is some psychological, emotional trauma that she is going to have from this.
So let's take it back a step and say, okay, if this was a cartoon and she was watching this cartoon, she would probably be disturbed to see a gang rape. Okay? In this case, she is actually the person in the video game or in the simulation, whatever game they were doing on AI or metaverse.
Yeah.
So she was actually, it wasn't just a random, cartoon out there with a violent act being committed. She was the one in the cartoon, or not the cartoon, but the
virtual reality
simulation.
AI. So here's the question. Great. Okay, so because this is a game, a virtual reality game situation, how is it that the characters were able to do that? Because whoever codes this and creates this game has to allow for activities to happen.
Yeah, good question.
Like I don't know what the whole component of this is, but the question is, this metaverse. Let's remember that is led by Facebook. Co-founder Mark Zuckerberg, and tech giants have bet billions of pounds, or in America we call them dollars, billions of dollars on having young people, old people, all people join this virtual realm of the metaverse. And so how much more dangerous could this get? So
it's the victim was in an online room with a large number of fellow users. That happens all the time. Chat rooms and other things. In this case, the virtual assault was by several adult men in this virtual room. So it's a good question. Is this a criminal act? But let me just read to you the response. A spokesperson for Meta said this kind of behavior described has no place on our platform, which is why for all users we have an automatic protection called personal boundary, which keeps people you don't know a few feet away from you. Okay, so then how did this happen, Katie?
Because they still made it possible. Like, even they can, this is what the
they say one thing, but they know that they're still going to happen.
They're trying to cover their back ends, but they're creators, because Zuckerberg is a bajillionaire and had how many people working on this metaverse? You think none of them knew, like, wow, if we allow these characters to be able to do anything, this could happen. They knew that was a possibility.
Yes, they had to have recognized that was a possibility.
But hey, we have a thing called personal boundary, which keeps people a few feet away from you.
Apparently didn't work.
Oh.
But this is called, did we mention it's called Horizon Worlds? It's a free virtual reality
I did not mention that. That's
online game. It's Horizon Worlds. I've never heard of it, but it's it's free, so kids are going to be checking it out.
Between that and TikTok, I mean, we're just winning as a society out here.
For parents.
Yes.
Parents, you need to be so up to speed on what your kids are doing online, and
I got a solution.
Go ahead.
Don't give them a cell phone. Nailed it.
Come on, Katie.
Nailed it.
But all their friends have them.
All their friends are suffering. So
yeah, this is a tough situation here when parents have to deal with this, because we'll see more of this. This is just one story.
Exactly, and that's over in the UK.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm sure it'll be coming over here.
What happens in the UK doesn't stay in the UK.
Well, we're going to end this day on a happy, sad note, I think.
Aww.
A newly minted Guinness record holder has just clucked the bucket.
What?
Yep. I know. It may sound a little odd. But make sure you stick around to hear why Peanuts was no spring chicken. Stay with us.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Peanut. It's not just a character of ventriloquist Jeff Dunham. It is the world's oldest chicken.
Cluck, cluck.
But Peanut died at the age of 21. Apparently that's an old age for a chicken.
World record even.
Peanut lived in Michigan and died at home in Michigan on Christmas morning. We're going to come back and talk about this, but watch the video.
This is Peanut. Peanut just got the world's record for oldest living chicken from the Guinness World Records.
It's a tale of survival and love that starts on a cold spring day in 2002.
Her mom sat on a nest of eggs and Peanut didn't hatch. And her mom got off the nest with her little chicks. And I went out to check the nest the next day and saw that there was an egg left in the nest. And I just left it there. I just thought, well, it's a bad egg. So it sat there cold for at least a day.
She didn't just survive. Peanut would outlive her entire nest and live an entire decade past her breed's average life expectancy of 5 to 10 years old. Peanut's age has been verified by her vet, who met her in 2003. Peanut laid eggs until she was 8 years old, outliving most of her children, other than one, her 15-year-old daughter, Millie. In her younger years, she was often the leader of the flock. But today, Peanut's life consists of cuddles and spending time with her family.
She loves to be held, she loves to be cuddled and talked to, and she'll give you little kisses or little nibbles on the ear. She likes to watch TV. And so we have the cage over there that she can look at TV at night.
So the average age, I didn't realize this, the average age of a chicken is 5 to 10 years?
Of that variety. So,
of that
hey,
variety.
We are
Okay.
called educated for a reason.
Wow.
We teach you things
I
around
learned
here.
something new today and every day.
There you go. So Peanut had the world record, like for a whole year about, but her little life was going downhill, especially as of late. Peanut's daughter, Millie, actually died on Halloween night at the age of 15. And as you could see, Darwin there, Ms. Darwin, said that it probably took a toll on Peanut. And then on December 7th, just a few weeks before her own demise, Peanut's old boyfriend, Benny, also passed. And he was between the ages of 12 and 15. We're not quite sure.
Okay.
But he's a male, so we don't care, right? That's how we
No, males live a little bit older, apparently. But isn't it interesting that Peanut's, is it a chick? Not a daughter, but okay.
Well,
Peanut's daughter died on Halloween and Peanut died on Christmas. Kind of interesting. It's the holiday family of chickens.
I guess on December 23rd, Darwin said she spent the night holding Peanut. And on Christmas Eve, she took Peanut to bed with her, as she normally did for 2 decades. And she says, I could feel her little head resting on my shoulder as she had done for years. And around 5 a.m., her neck relaxed into mine. And I knew she had died peacefully in her sleep. Her final gift to me. I know brighter days will come in time, but she will be forever missed. Happy, sad story.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know if it's a. I don't know.
It's a story.
I mean, animals. Yeah, we have dogs and cats, and they don't stay with us as long. Obviously, they don't live as long as humans, and we all go through that. When you have a pet, and Peanut was their very special chicken, and so I mean, it's hard. It's hard. We go through this heartache whenever you lose a pet.
Yeah. You let us know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Peanut lived a good long life.
Yeah.
Very,
really,
very good long
apparently.
life. So she clucked him anytime. So, all right. Well, don't you forget that you can catch Educated on the Go by subscribing on your favorite audio podcast platform. And also don't forget to download the Freedom Project Media app. Now for David and myself, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.